Show started. Let's bring up our first micer tonight, a guy who's been with us several times, and he's had a lot of fun talking about family. This guy's into has a public relations career by day and a father by night, and a comedian to help deal with both of them, I guess. But anyway, so let's give a big hand to Mark McClennan.
Thank you. Good evening. It's tough to follow the Bruins and the Celtics, my God. So, tonight I want to talk about two things. One, like I normally do, is 6 years ago, I held my son in my arms. My firstborn son, and I knew my life had changed. I was going to teach him the important rules in life. Study hard. Don't buy a woman 24 roses after the first date. Your word is your bond. Boy, was I wrong. The first rule out of my mouth to my son, don't eat pants. That was quickly followed by, don't punch mommy in the trachea. Mommy is not a napkin. Don't play with poop. And the ever popular, don't lick daddy's car. After those rules, he got a little bit older. And there were new rules, such as, don't ask mommy to call daddy at work for a second opinion. Daddy's rule number 23, don't tell mommy you love daddy more. And daddy's rule number 47, don't ever tell mommy, let's wait until daddy gets home and see what he says. And then my son gets older, and I make more rules. Interpersonal rules. Peekaboo is not a contact sport. Don't shove grandma in the ditch. Don't tell your teacher your brain is bigger than hers. And of course, one of my other personal favorite rules of all time, don't dynamite your friends. You've heard many of these before, and some of you laugh, some of you aren't. That's okay, you're only hurting my feelings a little bit. I wanted to think tonight about what happens before you're a parent. That wonderful time when you find out your wife is pregnant. Your first reaction is, oh my God, how did that happen? And then you think, well, duh, I know how that happened. And then you realize you have a choice to make. As a father, you now are making the first decision that can completely screw up your child for the rest of their lives. What are you going to name your child? And if you're like most people, you've thought about names for your kids as you were growing up, as you got older. And you might have a name that's near and dear to your heart. But unfortunately, you don't name your child. You and your spouse name your child. So you need to engage in a bit of dialogue and planning. And frankly, the tactics involved in choosing a name make the Wisconsin budget battle look easy. You know, when do you do it? Do you tell her over dinner? Do you do it in the morning? Do you do it when you're lying in bed? Do you do it after she's had 3 glasses of wine and may not remember what she agrees to? In my case, it was during the 230th commercial break of American Idol. I looked to my wife, and there was a name that was dear to my heart, and I gazed lovingly in her eyes. And I said, dear, I think I know the perfect name for our son. And she gazed lovingly back and knew this has been a dream of mine. And she crushed it like a bug. And she told me, that's nice, dear. You can call the dog that. The name was Angus, by the way. By the way, Angus McClennan is a very good name. But unfortunately, she didn't agree. So then we said, let's look at my other side of my family, the Italian side, which are really crazy when it comes to names. Joseph, Francis, Joseph, Francis, Joseph Francis, Joseph Francis. And so we decided, of course, on Joseph as the name of our firstborn son, and I'm quite happy with that, and I think it's a great name. A few years passed by, and we're expecting our second child. And I again think, oh my God, how did that happen? Well, duh, I know how that happened. And this time, hope springs, well, maybe it's going to be a girl. You know, sons are awesome. I love them. Happy to have a son. But every dad kind of secretly dreams about having a daughter and dreads having a daughter. And again, I had a name in mind for a number of years that would be a perfect name for our daughter. Mary. A beautiful name. Of course, The main reason I wanted the name was with a name like Mary McClennan, she was going to become a nun, and I wouldn't have to worry about her dating anybody or getting married. It was a great thing. But unfortunately, my wife, Margaret, goes, Mark, you're Mark McClennan, and I'm Margaret Ann Madden McClennan. We are not going to have children named Joseph and Mary. So my second dream name got shot down. So we then go and we look at a book. We get a baby name book. Maybe that'll help us. And as you're reading a baby name book, you realize there's a whole bunch of people that hate their kids. You read through this book and you see the great Scandinavian names. Odin and Thor and Sigurd and Fafnir. Can you imagine Sigurd McClennan? Strong name. Then you look at the Babylonian names, Hammurabi and Ashur. And you go through all these different ethnic names and traditional names, the most popular names. And then you look at the names that, oh my God, do we really like this child? And if we don't, maybe we should give him one of these names. So before we came up with baby names, we came up with the names we would never, ever name our child. And these are actual names that were once popular and dropped out of style. And it was very simple. We decided if we hated our son, because we knew it was going to be a boy, we could name him Hannibal, Hades, Lucifer, Lot, Osama, Judas, Adolf, Nimrod, McClennan. That didn't work out. And so we're trying things. And this is kind of a final point that I'll leave you with tonight. My son, who was 3 at the time, is sitting at the breakfast table, eating his waffle, healthy food with a lot of milk and chocolate chips, but we'll leave that alone. Daddy, I have the perfect name. I've been dreaming about it for years, Daddy. I go, well, Joseph, I have a perfect name too. I've been thinking about it for years. How about we name your baby brother Angus? That sounds like a dog's name, Daddy. So my son shot me down. Daddy, I have a name. It's much better than Angus. It's much better than Darth Vader. It's much better than Obi-Wan Kenobi, Daddy. It's the best name for a baby brother ever. What is it, Joseph? I think we should name my baby brother Cinnamon Rainbow. Thank you.